Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you're doing great. So, continuing our Basics of Management series, which is for students, school students, UG and PG students who are having this paper, Basics of Management. So, in this video, we will cover staffing function of management, which comes after organizing. According to McFarland, it is the function by which managers build an organization through recruitment, selection, and development of individuals as capable employees. So you are turning an individual into a capable employee by recruitment, selection, and development, which we will discuss in detail further. So for now, this definition talks about turning individuals to capable employees by recruitment, selection, and development. And it also highlights that this is the function by which you are making the organization, which is a group of people, and this group you build or you make through this function of management, that is staffing. So it is very important function of management. There's one more definition by Kuntz, O'Donnell and Hines, which says that the management function of staffing is defined as filling position in the organization structure through identifying workforce requirements, inventorying the people available, recruitment, selection, placement, promotion, appraisal, compensation, and training of needed people. So it talks in detail. In this definition, there was only recruitment, selection, and development talked about, but in this definition by Kuntz, O'Donnell, and Hines, they have also talked about the workforce requirement, which we will discuss further, then selection, placement, promotion, appraisal, compensation. So this definition talks about many other things in addition to the definition given by McFarland, and it is also talking about the filling the position in the organization structure, which we covered in the organizing function of management. What is an organization structure? So you need to watch that video if you don't know about organizing. Then comes the definition by Edwin Filippo, which says that recruitment is the process of searching for prospective employees and stimulating them to apply for the jobs in the organization. So this definition talks about the recruitment, which was the first one here, that how you build an organization or what is staffing function all about. So it starts with it talks about recruitment. So recruitment is basically when you search for the prospective employees and you stimulate them, you motivate them by giving them perks, by telling them about the job and the jobs about job, you stimulate them to apply for that job, right? So that is recruitment. However, staffing is the process of filling positions in the organization with adequate and qualified personnel. So right people you will have to hire. So that is staffing all about. It is process of acquiring, right? Finding, acquiring, deploying, and retaining a workforce of sufficient quantity and quality to create positive impacts on the organization's effectiveness. So this definition, it talks about acquiring and deploying, not only acquiring and deploying but also retaining that workforce, right, of sufficient quantity and quality, the numbers and the skills required to create positive impacts on the organization's effectiveness. So if we talk about staffing, it starts with recruitment, as we already discussed, that it is the process of searching for the prospective employees, which you can do by by publishing any advertisement or organizing any job fair. So you basically search for the prospective employees and stimulate them to apply for the job. Then you conduct the selection process. Then it is followed by orientation and placement to the job. Then their training and development, which is an ongoing process. Then deciding the remuneration, deciding the salary for them, then evaluating their performance and taking various decisions based on their performance. So it is, staffing function has this, that it is universal, it is purposeful, it is social process because you are dealing with people, and it is a coordinating force. It is intangible again because you can manage you can manage money, material, machine, but this function is related to humans and it is intangible. There's people say that you cannot manage people. It sounds very um, weird that a person wants to manage the workforce, wants to manage the people. So it is very sensitive function, it is continuous process, it is composite process, and it is the creative organ because you are creating the workforce. Those who will create the, who are the creative minds. So it is a very important function, it is very sensitive, it is continuous, it is composite, and it is purposeful because you are hiring people for doing a certain job for achievement of the organization's goals. And it is very important function of management, right? It is important part of management process as well. It is continuous activity. You will have people required, you will have people, you will need to develop them, you will need to remunerate them, you will. So it is a continuous process and it is concerned with human resource of an organization, as we already talked about that it is about men. It is separate from physical factors because it is complicated and sensitive function. Yes, it is sensitive because you cannot, it sounds very weird that you want to manage the human resource, and it deals with the maximum utilization of human resources like direction, coordination and control. So you time to time need to coordinate, control, motivate the workforce so as you can maximum, you can have them all the time motivated and giving their best. It is important function of management. We need to no need, we don't need to talk about, we already talked about the importance. So it is very important function of management. You are dealing with the attitude, aptitude, you are dealing with the loyalty, how person will be loyal to the organization. So it is about it will take into account various aspects of the workforce, their requirements, right? And it is, you need to have them recruited, then selected, then compensation, incentive, training. It is very important because there's rapid development of technology, increasing size of the organization, and there's human behavior is also very complicated. So it is very important function, and it ensures the optimum utilization of human resource by the way of avoiding surplus of workforce and prevents underutilization of personnel. So it, you can ensure optimum utilization of human resource if you are well um, equipped with the knowledge and skills of staffing. What is the scope of staffing? So all those activities, hiring, which includes recruitment and selection. It is basically a process of finding the prospective employees, selecting the best one who is the right one to do the right job, and appointing them. So that is all about hiring. Then comes the remuneration, deciding their salary. You need to pay them right salary for the job, for the kind of job they are in. Then you need to motivate them as well. Employee motivation is the, they are persistent, they are committed, right? They are giving their best, so you need to ensure that. So for that you need to have the employees motivated all the time, and their maintenance so they do not, shift the jobs, there's no absenteeism, there's no turnovers. So you need to reduce that also because it involves cost. So you need to retain them as well, and there's human relationship should be good in the organization so as you can facilitate better coordination among teams, among employees, there's better communication. So these are all the scope of staffing function. This is what a staffing manager, a human resource manager does. So manpower planning, it starts with, it is basically planning the manpower, that is the human resource. It is the process by which management determines how an organization should make from its current manpower position to its desired manpower position. Through planning, a management strikes to have the right number and the right kinds of people at the right place at the right time to do things which results in both the organization and the individual receiving the maximum long range benefits. So it is all about planning how many people you need and what kind of people you need, and It is helpful for both, for the organization as well as for the individuals, so that they can have benefits, the organization and the individual both. So it is about determining how can we move from this number of people to the desired one, and this type of people to the desired skills you require in the people. So it is very, it is about all about, it is a strategy for the acquisition, utilization, improvement and preservation of an enterprise human resource. You are again talking about the acquisition, how will you acquire them, how you will utilize them and improve them, right? And their preservation. It's all about human resource. Manpower planning or human resource planning is a forward looking function, and it involves both the quality of personnel and quantity of personnel. So quality of personnel, uh, what kind of people do we need? So you need to analyze the job analysis is the key. It guides you for the selection procedure as well. So job analysis is basically the determining the duties and skills required of a job. It includes job specification and job description. Job specification is a list of jobs human requirements, that is, the person should be having this much of skills, this kind of skills, this level of education, this kind of personality. So all these are the job specification, the skills, the education and the personality you require for doing the job. And job description is a list of duties, responsibilities, who you will report to, what will be the working conditions, what are your supervisory responsibilities. So that is a job description. So that is the difference between the two, that job specification talks about the person, his qualification, his skills, his education level, and job description talks about the job role. What will be your job role, who will be your superior, what will be your responsibilities, how will be your working conditions. So this quality aspect you can analyze through job analysis, that what kind of people do we need. You can look into the job specification and job description while selecting a person. And quantity of personnel, you can actually, with the quantitative methods, you can estimate how many people do we need in the organization. Quantity of personnel depends upon the demand, what kind of job it is, amount of work, how much work is there, how much load a one person can take. That's how you can divide among the people the whole job load. Then the level of absenteeism, how people are being absent, and level of turnover. You need to keep in mind, if people are turning over all in your organization, then you need to have a good number, so that if there's a turnover, your job is not affected, your organization is not effective. And the retirement and resignation, you need to keep an account of all these things while deciding for the quantity. So that is how you plan manpower. It is about deciding how many people you require, right? So this is again job description and job specification. Job specification lists person's qualification, experience, training, skills, right? Emotional characteristics, his personal responsibilities, his financial responsibilities, sensory demands. And job description talks about job title, where will be the job, location, job summary, who will you report to, working conditions, job duties, machine you will use, hazards there. So all these is the job description. Then comes the recruitment process, which Edwin Flippo's definition of recruitment, we already discussed that it is finding or searching for the prospective employees and stimulating them to apply for the job in the organization. So this you can do through school placements, employee referrals. You can ask your employees to bring people for the certain job. You can have voluntary applicants as well. You can have advertisements through print media or digital media. You can have you can have contacts with the employment agencies, and you can also internally search in the organization. If somebody is fit for a job role, then you can directly put him into that job role if he's willing. So these are sources for the recruitment process. So it is basically locating, identifying and attracting capable candidates, right, for your job. So it can be for your current job or your future needs of the organization. It is very critical activity, and it is about which source you will choose for the recruitment. So there are so many sources we already talked about. So this is recruitment all about. Then comes the selection, choosing the most suitable candidate for the job, right? So it is offering the job to desired candidates, but selection is the process of choosing from the candidates from within the organization or from outside the most suitable person for the current position or the future position. So it is simple that it is a process by which candidates for the employment are divided into classes, those who will be offered employment and those who will not. So it is a managerial decision making process as to predict which job applicant will be successful if hired. So you decide which one will be successful. So you hire the best, the right person. So it is the process in which an enterprise chooses the applicant who best meet the criteria for the available position. So you find out the best among all the applicants. That is selection all about. So it can have an initial screening, so you can remove individuals who do not meet the position requirements, such as if you need an experience of 5 years, so those who are not having 5 years experience, you can directly dump those applications, right? So through initial screening you can uh, just reduce just you can uh, dump the applications which are not fulfilling the criteria, which are not fulfilling the job criteria that you have mentioned. Then you can conduct the test and interviews, your IQ test, your personality test, EQ test. So various tests you can conduct. Then you will do the reference check, the background information, medical examination if required, and then you will have a job offer sent to the selected person, the person who you are hiring. So these are the steps followed in the selection process. Then comes the training. After selecting a person, you need to train them, that is whatever existing skills or knowledge or attitude he is having, you just move his skills, knowledge and attitude into the required, what you require, what skill set you require, what knowledge you require with the employee, what attitude or she should have. So for that you train them, and training is, it helps to bridge the gap between what is existing in the person and what you require. So training is a learning process. It involves acquisition of knowledge, sharpening of skills, concept, rules, or changing of attitude and behaviors to enhance the performance of employees. Right? So training and development on the other hand help the individual handle future responsibility with less emphasis on present job duties. So it is a long term process, it is an educational process. In this development you give him or her the general knowledge purpose, you give them, it is for the managerial personnel. And training, it is a short term process, it is through instruction, through on job off job training, you create the human resource, you provide him the necessary education, instruction, uh, knowledge, skills, whatever is the requirement of the job. This training and development helps in job satisfaction, that whatever he's getting from the job, or he's satisfied with his performance, his work, his job. And it also results in reduction of turnover, that he's not switching, he's not leaving the job. And it uncovers employees potential, full potential you can uncover if you are training him or her or developing him or her. It also result in increased consistency in the employees, team spirit, optimum resource utilization. So you can have various job trainings, that can be on job training and off job training. Off job training which is not uh, given at the job place where the job is, where you are to perform the job, it is off the job, it is external training. You can have it through lectures, through discussions, through demonstrations, through simulations, through presentations, right? And on the job training you will have at the actual job location. So you have an induction training as well, which is at the beginning of your job, you are introduced to the company, uh, you are told about the history, the vision, the mission, the policies, the salary policies, the increment policies, the work conditions, the uh, your dress code. So all these is told in the induction training, and your position and what you will do, what so all so the first training you get in the organization is induction training. Then your performance appraisal, which is the process of evaluating the performance of the employees. It is simple that you evaluate the performance of the employees and you try to enhance it. You try to find out the ways you can enhance his or her performance. So first of all, you need to establish the standards. What standard you are expecting for your employees. Then you need to communicate those standards to the employees. Then you measure the performance, what they actually perform. Like if you have a sales target of 100 for a month, so this is the target, and you communicate this to all your sales force. Then you measure that how many of them are actually achieving this target. Then you compare the standards, how far, how near they are to the standards. Then you discuss the appraisal with the employees. You find out if there was any reason that they could not perform better. Then you actually implement the personal action, that is you implement any action. If you need to hike their salary, you need to provide them incentive, or you need to promote them, or right. So you take the necessary actions at the end. So this is performance appraisal all about, and it is also part of staffing. So staffing is all about recruitment, selection, training, development, and performance appraisal, which we talked about in this video. I hope you understand. Thank you. Have a great day.